All right, should be good? All right,
Yeah.
all right, let's go. Township of Edison Zoning Board of Adjustment, special meeting of May 20th, 2025 is now in session. Adequate notice of this meeting, as required by the Open Public Meetings Act of 1975, has been provided by the annual notice published in the Home News and Tribune on December 13th, 2024, has been posted in the main lobby of the municipal complex on December 18th, 2024. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag. He's got to sit down. He's got to sit down. He's got to sit down. Madam Secretary, roll call, please.
Mr. Carley? Here. Mr. Bignell? Here. Ms. Shaw? Here. Mr. Chabra?
Here.
Mr. Cerrito?
Here.
Mr. Schneider?
Here.
Vice Chair O'Gorman?
Here.
And Chairman Kumba.
Here.
Thank you.
Madam Secretary, minutes for consideration.
Minutes of May 13th, 2025 for approval.
What's the board's pleasure?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion made by Vice Chairman O'Gorman, seconded by Mr. Schneider. Roll call, please.
Mr. Cerrito?
Yes on the motion.
Mr. Chabra?
Yes to the motion.
Mr. Schneider?
Yes to the motion.
Vice Chair O'Gorman?
Yes to the motion.
And Chairman Kumba.
Yes on the motion.
Thank you.
Okay, Madam Secretary, first resolution for approval, adoption.
Z23, 2024, Mayor Conderwall for approval.
What's the board's pleasure?
Motion to approve.
Second the motion.
Motion made by Vice Chairman O'Gorman, seconded by Mr. Schneider. Roll call, please.
Mr. Cerrito?
Yes on the motion.
Mr. Chabra?
Yes to the motion.
Mr. Schneider?
Yes to the motion.
And Vice Chair O'Gorman.
Yes to the motion.
Thank you.
Next resolution.
Z3, 2025, Ultimate Collision for approval.
What's the board's pleasure?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion made by Vice Chairman O'Gorman, seconded by Mr. Schneider. Roll call, please.
Mr. Cerrito?
Yes on the motion.
Mr. Chabra?
Yes to the motion.
Mr. Schneider?
Yes to the motion.
Vice Chair O'Gorman?
Yes to the motion.
And Chairman Kumba.
Yes on the motion. Final resolution for approval.
Z6, 2025, John Daniel for approval.
What's the board's pleasure?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion made by Vice Chairman O'Gorman, seconded by Mr. Schneider. Roll call, please.
Mr. Chabra?
Yes to the motion.
Mr. Schneider?
Yes to the motion.
Vice Chair O'Gorman?
Yes to the motion.
And Chairman Kumba.
Yes on the motion.
Thank you.
Okay, we have two announcements this evening. KZ 32, 2024, Sachin Patel at 167 Morris Avenue is being carried to June 17th, 2025, with no renotice required. If you're here for this case, Z32, 2024, Sachin Patel at 167 Morris Avenue. It will not be heard this evening. It will be heard on June 17th, 2025, with the meeting beginning at 7 p.m. here in council chambers. Case Z5, 2025, Abhishek Bardwaj at 8 Fielding Place will not be heard this evening. It will be carried to June 17th, 2025, with no renotice required. If you're here for this case, Z5, 2025, Abhishek Bardwaj at 8 Fielding Place. It will not be heard this evening. It will be heard on June 17th, 2025, with a meeting beginning at 7 p.m. here in council chambers. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is a special meeting of the Township of Edison Zoning Board of Adjustment. The board is composed of Edison Township residents appointed by municipal council who volunteer their time in service to the board. The municipal land use law requires that members successfully complete a land use training course administered by the New Jersey Department of Community Affairs. This board also holds in-house training conducted by our board professionals. The zoning board abides by the provision of the municipal land use law in addition to our board's bylaws. The zoning board is a quasi-judicial land use board, which differs from the township planning board. Under the municipal land use law, board members are required to be impartial and are not allowed to discuss any case prior to being considered at a hearing. All applicants will have the opportunity to present their case before the board, along with the opportunity for board members and board professionals to question the applicant and their witnesses. At the conclusion of the applicant's presentation of their case, the case will open to the public. Residents within 200 feet of subject property will be heard, followed by residents from outside of 200 feet. All residents will be sworn in, they'll provide their name and address, and they'll be given 6 minutes to comment on the application being considered without the opportunity for rebuttal. Residents may ask questions of the applicant's professionals, and board professionals. The board requests that these questions are asked prior to any commentary being made on the application. Once the commentary begins, the resident's timer will begin. The applicant will be allowed for the opportunity for cross-examination of their witnesses. Under the law, the chair is allowed to stop any commentary which is repetitive or an attempt to filibuster the board. Further, the chair is allowed to stop any commentary that is irrelevant to the case or prohibited from the board's consideration. Once public portion is closed, all public comments are ended unless new testimony is presented by the applicant. Following the closure of the public portion, the applicant will have the right of summation on their application. Following summation, the case will go to the board for a decision. This procedure has been followed by the board and is similar to the procedures followed by boards of adjustment statewide. Municipal land use law requires the board to engage in a balancing act. It is not required to strictly apply township ordinances, zoning plan, or master plan. As a board of adjustment, variances are granted when appropriately necessary, following all legal considerations. As has been the case with prior boards, this board will see where we are at if we are still in session around 10:30 p.m. I ask that all applicants, professionals, and residents show respect to each other and be civil throughout all proceedings. I ask that you withhold applause, booing, or interrupting anyone while they are speaking. The chair will not tolerate any outbursts by applicants, professionals, or the public. Further, since most cases are being recorded by a court reporter, I ask the speakers do not speak over one another. Madam Secretary, first case on the agenda, please.
Case number Z10, 2025, Rita Mehta at 14 Out of Bounds. Applicant is seeking bulk and use variances to construct an addition to the first and second floor along with a two-car garage to the existing single-family dwelling. The following standards have not been met. Max FAR required is 15%, proposed is 23.21%. Max lot building coverage required is 10%, proposed is 12%. Max lot coverage required is 25%, proposed is 38.57%. Affected property is located in the RAA zone, designated as block number 415, lot number 63, on the Edison Township tax map. All noticing paperwork is in order.
Good evening, Mr. Shire.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman. Bernard Shire, Convery, and Shire, on behalf of the applicant. In this matter, my client's the owners of a single-family home, which has two addresses, interestingly enough, 14 Out of Bounds and 1641 Woodland Avenue in the RAA zone, lot 63, block 415. My clients have a single-family home where they live on the premises. Proposals construct an addition to expand the bedroom and kitchen and a two-car garage. The variances are lot coverage by building, 10% is allowed, 12% is proposed. Lot coverage for all impervious, 25% is permitted, 38.5 is proposed. Maximum FAR, 15% is permitted. We're seeking 23.2%. However, the existing is 20.84%, so the increase is a little over 2%. I have with me Mrs. Mehta to testify, along with the architect, Mark Marcil, and Paul Fletcher, our planner. Unless there are any preliminary questions, I'm ready to proceed.
Does the board have any questions for Mr. Shire? Seeing none, you may proceed.
I call Rita Mehta, please.
Samantha, if you would just pull the microphone close to you, raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm to tell the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
And state your full name for the record.
It's Rita Mehta. Good evening.
Good evening.
Ms. Mehta, you and your husband own and reside at the property in question,
Yes, I do.
and it's a single-family home?
That's correct.
And how long have you lived there?
Since 99.
All right, and you're seeking to put an addition on the home to expand the bedroom and the kitchen and have a two-car garage, correct?
That's correct.
And what's the reason for this?
We've lived here since 99 and raised our family there. So about 6 months ago, my son, who has recently moved here, decided that they want to move in with us. We were not expecting that. We were actually expecting that, we would sell this house and move into a retirement community. But since they have decided to come in, move in with us, and start a family, we're looking to extend their bedroom and make them comfortable.
I have no other questions of Mrs. Mehta.
Does the board have any questions for Mrs. Mehta? Seeing none, thank you very much.
Thank you. Call Mark Marcil.
Marcio, would you raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear or affirm to tell the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, I do.
And state your full name for the record, please.
Mark Marcille, M-A-R-C as in cat, I-L-L-E.
Ms. Marcil, you have appeared before us prior, but it's been a while, so if you could please provide the board the benefit of the summary of your background and qualifications, please. Thank you.
I'm a licensed architect in New Jersey since 2004. I received my Bachelor's of Architecture from the New Jersey Institute of Technology, and it's a long time ago now. The date has escaped me. But I am licensed, I'm insured, and my license is currently active.
Okay, we'll accept you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Marcil, you were retained by the applicants to prepare the architectural plans for this project.
Yes, sir.
All right, could you briefly describe the existing house?
The existing house, a two-story single-family home with a finished basement. There's an elevated pool in the backyard, an existing gunite pool. This property slopes from the front to the back, so the basement is a walkout basement in the back, but is not considered a story because it's mostly below grade.
Right, and could you describe what the proposal is for this project?
So the proposal, as mentioned, was to slightly expand the kitchen to create sort of a service kitchen, expand one of the bedroom suites to make it comfortable for her son and his wife who are moving in, and to add an additional two-car garage. So we decided to design the addition behind the house so as not to increase the overall apparent volume of the house from the front of the street. So if you look at this elevation rendering on the top of the drawing, the shaded pink area is the addition as viewed directly from the back elevation, which is again behind the volume of the front of the house. And if you look at the right side elevation on the bottom of the drawing, the shaded pink area is the addition as viewed from the right side. So you can see a chunk of it is sort of below the grade line, which compromises the two-car garage. Above the two-car garage, in this existing space where we're showing this pink area where the addition is, there's an existing deck there, so that deck's going to be removed and replaced with the addition in the garage. And the garage will serve as sort of a connector to get to that existing elevated pool in the back of the property. On the floor plans, this is page A2 of the submitted documents. The drawing on the left is the foundation plan, so this large pink area is again all at basement level. The addition on the first floor level is this shaded pink area, and essentially is that service kitchen expansion. This sort of brown area is the space above the garage at basement level, which allows us to connect to this existing elevated pool deck. And then the second floor portion of the addition is indicated by that pink area. Again, it's a small area. It's completely behind the volume of the house, and the renderings sort of show that as well.
Right, now the present, lot coverage by the building is going to go to 12%, is that correct?
Yes.
And the permitted is 10%, so it's only going to be 2% over the requirements, correct?
That's correct.
The lot coverage by all impervious is going to go to 38.5%. What is the present coverage?
I don't have that on my plans. That's on, I think, Paul's plans, the existing coverage.
Okay, and we're proposing 38.5%?
Yes.
The maximum permitted floor area ratio is 15%. The existing is 20.84%, correct?
Yes.
And we're proposing 23.2%, so we're going up slightly over 2%, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
All right. Will any of this cause a problem with the building being overly visible or detract from the appearance of the neighborhood?
No, as I mentioned, the volume of the addition is behind the existing house. I think it could be noted that the two-car garage addition, while it technically counts towards the floor area ratio, it's at the basement level. So basements don't count towards FAR in the calculation. But because the letter of the law requires the garage to count, we've included it. So we'd be about a percent lower if we didn't have to include that basement level garage.
Right. I have no other questions of the architect.
Does the board have any questions for Mr. Marcio?
Mr. Chairman?
Mr. Chairman?
Yes, on the proposed addition, is there going to be a kitchen, and is there going to be a basement in the proposed addition?
There is, yes.
Any kitchens or
There's no
bathrooms?
kitchen, no kitchen proposed in the basement, no.
And is there going to be a sleeping area?
There's no sleeping area proposed in the basement.
Is there an outside entrance?
There is an outside entrance, well, through the garage. So the garage addition is at basement level, and then through that garage, you can come through the garage through the overhead doors or through a man door. Through the garage, you can get into an entryway which takes you into the basement and then up the main staircase.
And on the property in the back, what's in the back of what's the adjoining property behind it?
The golf course. Yeah, the golf course.
Thank you.
Any other questions for Mr. Marcio? Seeing none? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Call Paul Fletcher. Mr. Fletcher is being offered as a licensed professional planner of the state of New Jersey.
Mr. Fletcher, would you raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear or affirm to tell the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, I do.
And state your full name for the record.
Yes, Paul J. Fletcher.
And Mr. Fletcher, if you could please provide the board with a summary of your background and qualifications.
Yes, I'm a graduate from University of Toronto in 1971 with a Bachelor of Applied Science. I obtained my planner's license in, I believe, around 1989. I have a firm, I'm principal of Fletcher Engineering, Inc., which offers engineering and land surveying services and planning services.
Your planning license is current and good standing?
Yes, it is.
We'll accept you. You may proceed.
Thank you.
Mr. Fletcher, you've been retained by the applicants to provide planning testimony regarding this project, correct?
That is correct.
And you are familiar with the property as it presently exists?
Yes, I am.
You've also familiarized yourself with the proposed project?
Yes.
All right, could you please, from the standpoint of your experience and education as a planner, advise why the variances and questions should be granted?
Certainly. Subject property, as was previously mentioned, is in the RAA zone. Has a minimum lot area of 40,000 square feet. Existing lot area is 42,560 square feet. So we're well above the minimum lot size. All the other bulk requirements for the lot are conforming. There are 3 variances being proposed. Firstly, for lot coverage by building, 10% is allowed in the zone. Currently, it's at 10.7%, and we're proposing with the increase to go to 12%. Excuse me. There is a variance requested for maximum lot coverage, all impervious. 25% is allowed in the zone. Currently, it's approximately 34%, 34.5%. We're proposing 38.5%. Lastly, there's the maximum floor area ratio, where 0.15 is allowed. We're proposing 0.23, where 0.21 is existing now. The request for a FAR variance is classified as a D4 variance. It's not a true use variance in that a single-family dwelling is clearly a permitted use in the zone. So we don't have to show that this site is particularly well suited for the use because it's already a permitted use. The court decisions have indicated that the board's focus on this type of a D4 variance should be on whether the site will accommodate any problems associated with the proposed permitted use, but with a larger floor area than permitted by ordinance. So the question is, does this larger floor area pose any problems? As the testimony is provided, the addition to the house is to the rear. The neighbor to the rear is the Plainfield Golf Club. So it's not going to be apparent to from the street that this house has changed in volume or mass. We're meeting the required setbacks to the property lines. So frankly, I don't see any problems being created by this proposed variance. As to the negative criteria, it has to be granted without any substantial detriment to the public good. And I see no detriment by adding this addition to the single-family house. I see no detriment to the public good. And I don't see that, that this would substantially impair the intent and purpose of the zone plan or the zoning ordinance. And I would point out that the previous variances had been granted for this dwelling to be constructed as it is now. The request for the bulk variances for lot coverage and impervious coverage essentially are subsumed by the D4 variance. However, I think the C2 criteria can be used to justify the granting, whereby the benefits outweigh any detriments. I see no significant detriment to the public good or to the zone plan by granting these variances. Frankly, they're de minimis increases over the existing conditions. And I see no substantial detriment to the zone plan or the master plan by granting these two variances for bulk standards. And I think the granting of the variance will allow the home to be more functional for the family that lives there. I think that's a positive reason.
I have no other questions of Mr. Fletcher.
Does the board have any questions for Mr. Fletcher?
Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chaba?
Mr. Fletcher, you said the current existing impervious area is 34%, is that correct?
Existing total impervious?
Yeah.
I believe it's about 34 to 34.5.
And what's the driving factor in the current site improvements? What are the current site improvements that cause this high number?
Okay. The current site improvements, there's a circular drive. There's a sports court at the back of the property. There's a large patio area around the elevated pool. There is a very large house constructed on the home, on the property. And this increase is, we're extending the driveway so that it can go down and allow the garage, the two garages being constructed at the rear. That driveway area is being increased to allow access to the new garages.
And what is that current area right now? Is it impervious? Is it grass? Is it asphalt?
It's a combination. There's some grass, there's retaining walls, and some walkways.
Okay, so that would be demolished, and in place would be that addition to that house.
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions for Mr. Fletcher?
Mr. Chairman,
Vice Chairman?
Mr. Fletcher, this proposed addition will meet the characteristics of the neighborhood?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Mr. Fletcher, did you do any analysis of the neighborhood to see if there are any similar FAR properties?
I did not.
Okay. Mr. Shire, I have a question for you. So Mr. Fletcher had referenced 3 of the existing situations which would have required variances. Did you happen to obtain resolution of prior approval?
I'm sorry,
There were 3 variances that are associated with the current dwelling. Did you happen to obtain a resolution of prior approval?
no, sir. I did not see those, but I assume, obviously, they were granted at some point.
I would hope so. That is something that I would like to see. Any other questions, Mr. Fletcher? Okay, seeing none. Thank you.
That's the applicant's case, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. All right, so we will now go, so we'll go to the public. Anyone within 200 feet of subject site wanting to be heard? If you're within 200 feet of subject site, you received a notice via certified mail.
My name is Dr.
Hold on. Pull the microphone closer to you. Raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm to tell the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, too.
State your full name, provide your address.
Okay, it's Amarjit, first name.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that.
Okay, last name is Saini, S-A-I-N-I. First name is A-M-A-R, J like James, I, T like Tom.
You may proceed, ma'am.
And your address.
Oh, I'm sorry, apologies.
Your address, please.
My address is 12 out of bounds and 10 out of bounds. We have 2 houses. Metas are my next door neighbors. We've known them we've been in our property for the last 20 years. I know Meta's house in and out. She's shown us her plans, and I don't see any problem with it. And I have no problem with it. The other next door neighbor is here too, and we have talked to each other, and they don't have any problems.
Well, you can't testify for other
Sorry,
people.
okay,
only you.
sorry.
Right, thank you.
Okay, is that all you'd like to say? You have anything else to add?
No, that's it.
Okay, thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
We appreciate it. Is there anyone else within 200 feet of subject site wanting to be heard?
Hello, sir. Raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm to tell the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, I do.
State your full name, provide your address.
My first name is Manohar, last name is Wadke, W-A-D-K-E. My address is 1645 Woodland Avenue, opposite Edison, New Jersey.
Can you spell your first name for me too?
Okay, M-A-N-O-H-A-R.
Thank you.
You may proceed, sir. Thank you.
Okay. I live in, of course, out of bound association. We have a little association. It's filled with doctors, Dr. Sharma, Dr. Saini, and now Dr. Mehta. And before the year is over, we are going to have 2 highly qualified physicians. The doctors will be moving in. I've been their neighbor for more than 25 years. I think I support wholeheartedly whatever they want to undertake, and I had no objection whatsoever.
Okay, thank you. Anything else you'd like to add, sir?
I'm fine, thank you.
Thank you so much. We appreciate it. Anyone else within 200 feet of subject site wanting to be heard? Anyone outside 200 feet wanting to be heard? Seeing none, can I get a motion to close the public portion?
Motion to close public portion.
Second the motion.
Motion made by Vice Chairman O'Gorman, second by Mr. Schneider. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Public portion is now closed. Mr. Shire, if you have any summation, and then also just to remind you, we only have 5 voting members this evening.
I'm aware of that. I just want to say very briefly, the increases proposed are minimal, within 2.5%. All the setbacks comply. The addition is to the rear, which faces a golf course, so you can't really see it from the front of the house. And all the setbacks are complied with. The final item I wanted to mention is that the 2 neighbors that live in the immediate area and next door are fine with the application, and the improvement will add something nice to the neighborhood.
Okay, thank you. I'll go to the board.
Mr. Chairman?
Vice Chairman?
Mr. Fletcher testified that there was prior approvals. I believe we should have those prior approvals before us before we do a vote.
I have no objection to the board obtaining the prior approvals. I assume they're in the records somewhere from, I guess, at least 20 years ago.
Sorry. The applicant would have to put in an OPRA request, and we can definitely pull and look in the archives for you.
Sure.
Okay. So if you could do that.
Absolutely.
So then I believe we could just put you on for vote only. And I'm going to make a suggestion, but I'm going to leave it up to the secretary so I don't get yelled at. Madam Secretary, June 17th for vote only?
For vote only, yes.
Okay, all right. Does that work for you? And your,
I have no problem. I believe I'm here anyway on June 17th.
Okay.
So
okay.
That's a good thing. If I may, if we could have the transcript reviewed by additional board members so we have a full board to vote, I believe that would be, the applicant would be entitled to that.
That's a great idea, and we have no objection to that. Okay, great, thank you. So anyone here present and anyone listening at home, this case will be continued to June 17th, 2025, with a meeting beginning at 7 p.m. here in council chambers. Thank you so much, Mr. Shire, and have a good evening.
Nice to see you all.
You as
Thank
well.
you.
Madam Secretary, next case on the agenda, please.
Case number Z12, 2025, Sukhwinder Singh at 46 Foyer Street. Applicant is seeking minor subdivision along with bulk and use variances to construct 2 new single-family dwellings. The following standards have not been met for both lots sought. Max FAR required is 44%, proposed is 55%. Max lot building coverage required is 23%, proposed is 28.8%. Front setback required is 25 feet, proposed is 19 feet. Lot width required is 75 feet, proposed is 50 feet. Affected property is located in the RB zone, designated as block number 294, lot number 11.01 on the Edison Township tax map. All noticing paperwork is in order.
Good evening, Mr. Tripp.
Good evening. As we were made aware, there's just 5 board members this evening. What we'd like to do, we had been discussing adjourning, but we've been advised that the next available meeting is for a full hearing is in July. So what we'd like to do is request that we present the case this evening, not have a vote, carry it for a vote only, and I'd provide the transcripts between now and then. And if additional board members were available to review the transcripts, we could have a full complement of the board.
We have no objection to that.
And yeah, so we'll proceed on that basis, and that way we can get the testimony in and be carried to a meeting for a vote only.
Great, thank you.
Thank you. So for the record, Stephen Tripp from the firm of Walensky, Goldman and Spitzer on behalf of the applicant. This is property located at 46 Foyer Street. It's within the RB zone. We've got a 10,000 square foot lot, which is oversized for the zone. The proposal is a two-lot subdivision for two 5,000 square foot lots, demolish the existing dwelling and build a new single-family dwelling on each lot. As was indicated when the matter was introduced by the secretary, we need variances for lot width, lot area, front yard setback, which, as you'll hear, is only to the covered porch. The main structure is 25 feet and compliant, but we're seeking relief for the porch. Percentage of lot coverage and floor area ratio, and that's why we're before this board, because it's a D4 variance, and we need to, only this board can grant relief. What I'd like to do is start with John DuPont, who is going to be testifying this evening as a professional engineer and professional planner. Mr. DuPont is familiar with the project and will testify in both capacities.
Okay, go ahead, I'm sorry. We're hopping all over each other tonight, I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. Mr. DuPont, raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm to tell the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
And state your full name for the record.
John P. DuPont.
Mr. DuPont, if you could please provide the board with a summary of your background qualifications, and we'll take care of both licenses at one time.
Sure.
Thank you.
So I have a bachelor's in civil engineering from the University of Hartford. I am licensed professional engineer in the state of New Jersey, as well as a certified municipal engineer. I'm also a professional planner in the state of New Jersey. Both licenses are current. I've been before this board as both planner and engineer, and I've served as the Borough Carteret Planning and Zoning Board engineer for the past 28 years.
Okay, we'll accept you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. So, Mr. DuPont, can you describe just your role in the project, your familiarity with the plans, and the surrounding neighborhood?
All right, so I didn't prepare these plans, but I was retained to review and testify as a professional engineer and professional planner for this project.
And in that capacity, you're fully familiar with everything on the plans, correct?
That is correct.
And you have reviewed the reports issued by the board's professionals?
I have.
And you attended the TRC as well?
I did.
Thank you. Briefly describe the property. What exists now, the site conditions for the benefit of the board and the public?
So as you've heard, it's a 10,000 square foot lot, currently containing a 2.5-story frame dwelling. It also has a detached garage and a covered porch, which is approximately 8 foot from the front property line. The main residence currently is about 14.6 feet from the front property line. And both are non-conforming because the front yard setback is 25 feet. So both the porch and the front actual main building are both non-conforming. The property is in the RB zone. Lot sizes in that zone are 75-foot width and 7,500 square foot areas. And as we will explain in detail, a majority of the lots in the neighborhood are smaller than that. So what the applicant is proposing is to create two 5,000 square foot lots, each 50 by 100. Demolish all existing improvements, propose two single-family homes. Each house will contain a total of 2,754 square feet and have a front covered porch and a garage. So there's several variances that we're going to request tonight. The minimum lot area, 7,500 square feet in the lot required. We are proposing 5,000 square feet. The minimum lot width, 75 feet required, and we're proposing 50 feet. The minimum front yard setback is 25 feet. We are proposing 25 to the main building, however, 19 feet to the covered porch. So that's a variance. And the maximum percent of building coverage, 23% permitted. We're proposing 28.8%. And finally, we have a floor area ratio where the maximum permitted is 44. We're proposing 55. So if I could just shift to engineering first. You have your site plans in front of you. From an engineering standpoint, it's pretty basic. It's a lot with one home on it. We demolish everything on the site. We propose two brand new homes, driveways, garages, very typical. The total increase in impervious for the site is only 639 square feet total. So it's a de minimis increase in runoff. We're not proposing any on-site detention. With respect to utilities, we'll utilize the existing water and sanitary sewer laterals for one home, and we'll construct a new water and sanitary sewer lateral for the other. We have received the DNR review letter dated April 3rd, as well as the Big Nell planning letter dated March 19th. We can comply with both letters in full. However, there is one item I want to bring to the board's attention. In the DNR letter, there is comment 3.1. And Mr. Corley talks about the applicant's proposing 2 4-bedroom dwellings, which require 2.5 spaces each. We are currently proposing 2 spaces each, a garage and a driveway. Now, we can widen the driveway if the board would like. We chose not to. We think the design with 2 spaces is adequate, and an increase in width would also increase our impervious coverage. So we initially, and we designed it as only a single-car garage and single-car driveway. If the board has strong feelings, we can certainly widen out the driveway.
And the RSIS requirement, are you aware that it specifically permits a board or any approving entity from allowing a lesser number of spaces than required if it's warranted under the circumstances?
Yes, I am.
And you find that based on the desire to keep the impervious coverage, what it's proposed, and the fact that we're talking about half a space, that it's warranted in this case?
Yeah, in this case, I think 2 spaces was required, is what's needed. And I would say the 2 spaces is the proper design.
Mr. Dupont, since you brought up Mr. Carley's report, let's just jump in there. Mr. Carley?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. As Mr. Dupont testified, he's referring to our April 3, 2025 letter review report. And as Mr. Dupont offered, those outstanding items from our letter he would address should the board act upon this application favorably. Relative to parking, the residential site improvement standards for a 4-bedroom dwelling does peg parking at 2.5 spaces per dwelling for a 4-bedroom dwelling. RSIS, generally, the language in there is a little bit vague, but it also says you should round down. It's just generally my observation that there were more cars than less in 2025. I think Mr. Dupont testified relative to his opinion in terms of the adequacy of parking. That's a board decision, whether you feel that the 2 spaces are adequate or not. Everything else in our report touches upon the site layout. As Mr. Dupont testified, it's pretty straightforward. You have a piece of property, the existing dwelling would be removed, and then you'd have essentially a building lot with 2 rectangular dwelling units placed upon it. The grading is regular, the arrangement's parallel, perpendicular. There's not an awful lot for me to report to the board as an engineer. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Carley. Mr. Bino?
Would it make sense for us to address the variances before the planner talks about his report?
Mr. Bino, you have an objection?
I have no objection, other than the site plan requirements. I asked for an addition, a second rendering, which I received this evening, and I looked at it, and it's fine.
Okay.
And then he just has to provide his letters for buffering and whatever, and then testimony for the variances. That's all.
Okay. Thank you. Mr. Brown, you may proceed.
Thank you. So, Mr. Dupont, what I'd like you to first do is to address the bulk variances pursuant to the MLUL flexible C criteria. Can you just briefly touch on what that criteria requires?
We certainly will. So again, using the flexible C criteria, we're going to balance the positive and negative criteria. We're going to show you what purposes of the MLUL are advanced by the deviation from the zoning ordinance, and the benefits will substantially outweigh any detriment. The first bulk variance to talk about is the lot width and lot area requirements. We have looked at the lots within 200 feet and 300 feet of the property. 67% of lots within 200 feet have a non-conforming lot width and lot area requirements similar to ours.
And do you have an exhibit
We
that
do.
shows that?
We do. Check this. Pass out to the board.
Yes. Wait, whoa, 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 come back for a second. We just want to use. This is
Okay.
what we need.
First one.
Just one.
Okay.
In fact, I have just the first one. Let me mark that in.
Trip, this was not a part of the submission, right? So this is A1, Exhibit A1?
This is A1, yes, correct.
Totally get you, yeah. So the exhibit you're looking at will show, that's okay, I got that, that's all right. We'll show the lot width and lot areas within 200 and 300 feet. The blue property is our property, and the orange lots show all the non-conforming lots that don't meet the 75 by 100 requirement. So you'll see it's 67% within 200 feet, it's 74 within 300 feet. It's all but 4 lots on our block do not conform. The lots surrounding us are basically 50 by 100. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 on our block that are 50 by 100. So that being said, there are the 50 by 100 proposed by us is more consistent with the neighborhood. It's certainly within character. The immediate neighborhood, there's only 5 lots out of 14 that meet the standard with an area or a greater. By creating 2 5,000 square foot lots with 50 by 100 dimensions is a better planning alternative than retaining a lot that is inconsistent with the majority of the neighborhood. So we're proposing something very much in character of the neighborhood. The purposes of the MLUL that are advanced by this, purpose A, we're proposing appropriate use and development of lands. Purpose G, we're providing sufficient space and appropriate locations for a variety of uses, including residential. I see there's no detriments to creating 2 lots as proposed because they will in no way affect the character of the neighborhood due to their consistency with the majority of the lots. As such, the benefits of the deviation substantially outweigh the detriments.
So do you see any, you don't see any detriments to?
None.
To creating these 2 lots based on for lot area and lot width, correct?
That is correct.
I'd like you to move on. We'll cover the negative criteria all at once at the end. Is that correct?
That's correct.
So let's move on to the positive criteria for the front yard setback.
So front yard setback, a fully conforming 25-foot front yard setback is provided to the main structure. We are providing only 19 foot to the covered porch. So that does require a variance. We feel that the porch provides a little architectural interest instead of just a flat front, boring house. It has a little character to it, so we feel it's a benefit. Since the porch is only 9 foot wide, it doesn't constitute a significant encroachment in the front yard and does not adversely impact light, air, and open space. Purposes of the MLU are advanced by that. We think it promotes a desirable visual environment through creative design. And by adding a porch in the front of the house, it's a better planning alternative than simply having an uninterrupted front facade. It also provides some shelter entering the dwelling. So I think it's just a benefit. It's an architecture benefit. I'm not an architect, but it's a benefit. It's going to look better. It's going to be more consistent again with the neighborhood.
And it could be removed and then the house would comply, correct?
It certainly could.
But you feel it's a better planning to add it to the front facade?
I do.
And in terms of any detriments, do you see any detriments?
I see no detriments to that.
Moving on to lot coverage by building. Can you address that?
So lot coverage by building, a variance to permit 28.8% building coverage provides a better alternative than strict compliance. It permits a little larger home that's more appropriate for a growing family. It's certainly not an oversized house. That's not what's happening. We're not building McMansions on these lots. It's a little larger home. I think it's very consistent with current standards and a growing family. Purposes, again, advanced by MLUO. Purpose A, we think it's an appropriate use and development of lands. Purpose G, it provides sufficient space and appropriate locations for a variety of uses, including residential. And I see no detriments. The total impervious coverage of the site, including all improvements, complies with the 40% maximum. The proposed residences are appropriately sized and can easily fit into the proposed lots. As such, the benefits of the deviation will substantially outweigh any detriments.
And you earlier testified that even with adding these two structures and the related improvements, the overall increase in impervious coverage over what's there now is approximately 600 square feet?
That's correct.
And that's not significant?
It's de minimis.
And did that factor into your analysis of the appropriateness of the lot coverage that's proposed?
Yes, it did.
Thank you. Now I'd like you to address the FAR variance.
Okay, so variance, as you know, D4, floor area ratio. The criteria is to demonstrate that the site will accommodate the problems associated with the proposed use with larger floor area than permitted by ordinance.
So we're not focusing on the use here, is that correct?
That is correct.
Because the use is permitted by ordinance?
Use is permitted.
And we're focusing solely on the increase in FAR and what effects it may have.
That's right. That's right. So here, both proposed lots can accommodate an FAR of 0.55. We comply with all the setbacks, with the exception of that front porch, as previously discussed. The additional floor area ratio will allow a more appropriate sized house. And again, it's important to know that the lot can support the additional FAR. We're not asking for side yard setbacks. We're not asking for rear yard setbacks. We're not overbuilding this home, making it too large and fitting it on a small lot. If it wasn't for the porch itself, which is, we think, a better architectural design, there'd be no setback violations. So again, I see no detriment whatsoever by the increased FAR. We're going to meet the character of the neighborhood, and it's an appropriately sized house.
Now, in terms of the negative criteria, which, again, in looking at whether there are detriments in each one, you kind of covered it already, but I'd like you to address it. We're required to show no substantial detriment to the public good and no substantial impairment to the intent and purpose of the zone plan and zoning ordinance. Is that correct?
That is correct.
And did you can you address that criteria?
Well, as discussed, the lot area and lot width are substantially consistent with the majority of the properties in the neighborhood and are more consistent with the immediate area than the existing oversized lot. The front yard setback allows architectural interest. There's no adverse impacts to that porch. The building coverage allows for appropriate sized homes. It meets the rear and side setbacks. The only deviation is that porch. We also meet the total impervious coverage requirements. As far as the FAR is noted, the lots will accommodate any problems associated with the increase in floor area ratio. The variances taken together permit appropriate size residential development consistent with the immediate neighborhood.
And as a result, do you find that there was any substantial detriment to the public good or any substantial detriment to the impairment, to the intent and purpose of the zone plan and zoning ordinance?
I see no detriment whatsoever.
Thank you.
Does the board have any questions for Mr. Dupont with regard to engineering or planning testimony?
Mr. Chairman.
Vice Chairman?
You testified there's 5 out of 14, is that on Foyer Street, that are conforming to the current width of the property? You said 5 out of 14. I count 13 on Foyer Street.
There is, within 200 feet, only 5 within the radius, and that's on that exhibit. There's 4 on Foyer and 1 on Harrigan. I'm sorry. So I was looking at Foyer and Harrigan. There's there's a church lot down below as well, you'll see within 200 feet.
So it's Foyer and what's the other street?
So it's Harrigan and Foyer, both sides, or is within that 200-foot radius that are not conforming. You're saying that are conforming? Is that what you're saying, conforming?
No, I'm your testimony. You said 5 of 14 comply.
Comply.
And I'm just asking, what street? Is that Foyer Street? I don't know.
Yes, it's Foyer, on Foyer within the 200 feet of our property, and one's on Harrigan. And then the church property, yes, that's Foyer as well, yes.
So you're saying 5 of 14 on Foyer Street? That was your testimony. I'm just asking.
It's 5 within 14 within 200 feet of our property,
Okay.
which is
You're
on that.
talking, John, you were talking about the block we're on. It's surrounded by Riverview,
Right.
Harrigan, Fox, and Foyer. That's where you talked about 5 of 14?
And actually, it's for clarity, on our block between Riverview and Fox, Harrigan, and Foyer, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, if you include our current lot, 5 lots conforming total,
And 9 that don't.
and 9 that do not.
So on this exhibit A1 that we're calling A1, those numbers aren't on here that you submitted. And here's another item. I'm looking at this, right? And then I got to turn it around or rip it in half because you got your map and then you got the information. So I'm not sure how to read this.
I'm sorry.
Can you amend this on what your testimony is?
I will go back to saying exactly this. Within 200 feet of our property, 67% of those lots within that 200-foot radius on that map are not conforming.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions for Mr. Dupont? Mr. Dupont, did you do an analysis of the floor area ratio comparison within 200 feet?
We did. Within 200 feet, we see no floor area ratio exceeding on our block. Yes, within 200 feet.
What do you?
Mr. Tripp, can you just bring the microphone closer so we can hear you?
And why would you think that would be?
Older homes. And again, we used Google Earth too at that moment. So we didn't survey these dwellings, so it's a little bit of an estimate as well.
Okay. Any other questions for Mr. Dupont? Okay, thank you very much.
Chairman, I have a question.
Oh, excuse me, I'm sorry.
Just making sure I'm reading this right. Mr. Dupont? So 67% are non-conforming, 33% conforming. The immediate neighbors on Foyer Street, there seems to be 4 properties in a row that are conforming, correct? And
Including ours, yes, we're the middle of that, yep. Yes.
so the immediate neighborhood, well, the immediate neighbors are conforming.
Both adjoining properties certainly are. Every property behind us adjacent is not. But yes, you're right. The left and right side of our property is currently conforming.
Thank you.
Any other questions, Mr. Dupont? We mean it this time. Thank you very much, Mr. Dupont. Ms. Tripp?
That's all I have at this point.
Okay. All right, so we will proceed and go out to the public.
Yep.
So with anyone within 200 feet of subject site wanting to be heard, if you're within 200 feet of subject site wanting to be heard, you received a notice via certified mail.
Sir, raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm to tell the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
And state your full name, providing your address.
Thomas Freck, 19 Harrigan Street. I am behind the structure they're talking about. I have one question. My neighbor here did not have a chance to at least see the plans, so she doesn't even know what the house looks like. Is there a possibility she can look at the plans now while I'm asking questions?
We have no objection. You could do that, ma'am. You could approach.
So,
Thank you, Mr. Carley.
Okay, I have several questions. I have lived in that neighborhood for 45 years. So if you need any clarification, what this gentleman was talking about, on Foyer Street, there's two sides of the street. The side that he's proposing to build on has 4 houses that are in conformance with it. The one house he's working with is a double lot. Not a double lot, but it's one lot that's actually 2 lots. So that's one side of it. On the other side of the street, there's 2 houses, and then there's a church CYO building, a church lot, and a little church. So that's the neighborhood that we're talking about, the immediate neighborhood. On the other side, where I am on Harrigan Street, we're pretty much 50 by 100 on lot sizes. So we're pretty much back to back. What he's proposing is nothing, it will be an improvement to the neighborhood. It's nothing bigger. It's not a monstrosity to the neighborhood. So it should fit in, but I do have some questions about it. The first thing I have is you're talking about you want to get a variance from 25 feet to 19 feet for the covered porch. But there also has to be a set of stairs that are going to extend out beyond that porch. So how long are those steps going to be? Are they going to be 6 foot? So now we're talking about the house, the beginning of the structure of the stairs are going to be 13 from the end of the street? Is that a legitimate question or no?
Well, I would say that we know the covered porch will be 19 feet because that's what has a roof on it, and that's what counts for front yard setback. How close the stairs extend forward, I do not know that. I know that the current house is 8 feet, so it won't be as close to the current house, but I don't know how exactly how far it is. Yeah, the architectural plan shows 4 steps, but I don't know if that's accurate.
I don't think it's accurate. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's got to be 5, I think. So when you're asking for a variance, aren't you looking at from where the structure ends to the sidewalk as opposed to? That's what I'm asking for. Like, how is the house going to be exactly the way it is now, which is like 8 feet away from the street?
No.
It's not going to be set back 25 or 19 feet, and then the steps come?
Sir, let me see if I could turn to one of our experts. Mr. Ayat?
Yes, we take the setback from the end of the porch, not the stairs. We don't ever take it to the stairs. He could have 4 stairs, or I think he's going to have 4 or 5 stairs at this point. But we always take it back to the end of the porch. That's where we measure from, not the stairs.
And if I could offer one maybe more clarity, the existing home right now, the existing main structure of the home is 14.9 feet from the property line, not the sidewalk, from the property line. The proposed home will be 25 feet from the property line.
So
then the porch will come forward, but the main structure is back 10 feet from where the current one is today.
Also, looking at the existing conditions and demolition plan, the porch itself is, 8 or 9?
Yeah, it's 8.9 feet is the front.
8.9 feet, and then there's a step in front of it.
There is.
So it's much closer than what will be done if we have the porch. Is that correct?
That's correct. We are pushing the house back a little bit.
So the house is going back like from 25 feet, and then the porch will be 6? Coming forward, the porch will be 6.
Yeah.
The house will be set back 25. Then we would deduct 6 feet for the porch. Right, be 6 by 25, the porch, a full porch?
No.
It comes up to 19, so it's 6 by 10.
We have to put the garage in there, I know that.
So, right there.
It's not.
Mr. Carley?
Yeah, Mr. Chair, just to cut to the quick.
I could
The
probably
covered
look at the
wood
plans.
porch that the board sees on sheet 1 of 2, that's approximately 8 foot off of the front property line.
That's the existing.
That's the existing.
Yes.
Thank you for reminding me what I said, Mr. Tripp.
Okay, just wanted to make sure.
And if the board moves its attention to sheet number 2, They would see that the setback of the proposed covered porch is about 19 feet. All that is to say that Mr. Dupont's testimony that the proposed dwellings would be about 10 feet beyond where the existing dwelling is, or set back an additional 10 feet, is accurate.
Sir, I'm sorry. I'm going to need you to be on microphone. It's okay.
So the garage is going to be on one side, and then the porch would be on the other. So it would be a full porch for whatever is allowed, right? That's not being occupied by the driveway.
It's even smaller than that. There's landscaping on the side. It's a smaller porch than that.
So it's just a small porch, it's like a landing porch, it's not a full porch?
Short answer is yes.
Yeah, it's shorter.
It's a shorter porch.
It scales to about 10 feet.
So it's 10 feet, and the door is about 3, so it's about 5 feet, so it's a little porch. But that will, so it won't extend to the end of the
It will not.
house.
Correct.
Does that look right?
That's what's shown on the proposed landscape and utility plan, which is shown on sheet 2 of 2 of the site improvement plan, which is what
I
Mr.
personally would like to
Carlin-
see a full porch, because that's what a lot of the structures in the area are. If you're putting that, I mean, you're going to build something, if you're going to extend it a little bit more, then you're allowing the porch to be a little bit more uniform, I would think, than that. That's not my issue, but I'm just making a recommendation to actually just extend the porch and just have it a full porch. Why cut a couple of feet off it? Because then it looks like, it doesn't look like it's uniform. That's my opinion. Okay? I'll leave it up to you to decide what you want to do. All right, I have a question in regard to drainage coming off the house. Drainage coming off the house, is it going to be underground drainage? That the drain pipes go underground and then out to the street? Or will they just go right on the property?
Splash box, right to the property, right to the grass.
So it's a splash box onto the property?
Yes.
Okay. Fencing, is there any proposal for fencing surrounding the properties, both properties?
No.
Landscaping, what do we have for landscaping?
Yes, there's landscaping consistent with the township requirements, and there's foundation plantings as well.
Okay. All right, the setback, you were proposing that the, what do you call that, the backyard's distance to the end of the property is going to be maintained at 25 feet? Did I
It's going to
understand
meet the
that?
code, yes. It's gonna meet-
So, okay, so that's not an issue. Position of the house, I didn't get a chance to really, I saw the plans, but, you know, you can only spend so much time looking at them. The position of the house, where is it going, where's the logistics of it? Is it in the center of the property? Would it be off to the left or off to the right? Or how are the two houses going to be situated?
They both, again, we talked about the front yard setback at extent, and we talked about the rear yard setback, so that's the depth of it, you know that.
Right.
And then we meet the side yards between the two new homes, meet the setbacks, and to the outside, it's additional. So it's setback plus additional couple feet.
I understand one word you said. When you lay the house down at 50 by 100, is it in the middle of the property, 50 by 100, or is it off to the left or off to the right?
It is not in the middle.
Okay.
As we said, from the inside, between the two new homes, they're required to be at least 6 feet between the home and the property line on
Right.
each side. They're each 6 feet.
So
on the outside, they're required to be 6 feet. They're going to be 12 foot on both sides. So it's a little bit, the setback in between the two new homes is the minimum, and the outside is expanded.
Okay, so there'll be 12 feet between the two houses when I'm
Yes.
looking at the structure,
Yes.
okay? And then the driveways, I forgot where the garage is going to be. They're going to be on the left and the right side of the houses?
You're going to be on the right side, looking at both right sides of both on the right side.
They'll be both on the right side?
Yes.
Okay. All My only question is, you're going to put two houses in there, you're not going to put any kind of fencing? I don't like that. I'm going to tell you that right now. I think there should be some kind of fencing put
Sir,
up
that's
there.
not a, sir, it's not a question. You were giving your commentary.
Oh,
I just wanted to clarify.
right, so I'll just make a commentary?
That's fine. Please go ahead.
Okay, so I would suggest that you put up fencing in there, and I would probably put up a PCV fencing to give a little bit of privacy to it, because you're putting up two big structures, you're not putting any division between the house on the right. The house on the left has a garage that separates it from the main structure on Riverview Avenue. But I think you should consider something like that. My other question is, when you look at the renderings, how much do the renderings change when the house is being built as far as the appearance? And I'll give you one question. Like, the garage doors that are shown are very, very nice. They seem to be like top of the line. But is that what I'm going to expect to see when the house is built? Or are we going to start, cutting costs and putting in just flat panel garage doors?
The applicant has advised me to represent to the board that the plans will comply with the renderings that were shown. So whatever garage doors are shown would be garage doors that would be built. He'd be willing to stipulate to that. And also, the applicant has advised me to indicate that a fence can be provided if the board would like fencing, decorative fencing, a PVC fencing, that he'd have no objection to including that in a plan.
Thank you very much, Mr.
And there is some fencing behind the property too, existing already. So you may not have to put a whole fence in the back. You'd have to discuss it with the owners.
Okay, sir, I think.
Mr. Chairman, is he looking for a fence along his property line or between the two new houses? Because between the two new houses, I think that's going to be too close. He meets the setback, so I
No,
don't
I'm
see a
saying around
violation.
at the ends of the properties. The property, the house on the right has no fence right now.
It's not required. That's why there's no fence. There's no fence required this evening either. If you're looking for a fence between your property and theirs, I can understand that. But boxing in these two houses, I don't see the need for that.
No, I'm not saying, well, I didn't think about that, but that would look like pretty close. But
Yeah, that would look
I would
kinda
say at
silly.
least the fencing should be put up on the right side of the right side of that.
Yeah, I would suggest to the board only the rear property line. If you want to put a fence, I don't think it's required, but I would put it up along the rear property line. I wouldn't put it anywhere else. These lots are very small, so.
Basically, the applicant would agree to whatever, if the board wants to impose a fencing condition, whatever the board feels is appropriate, we would be willing to do.
Okay, I think that's something that the board would take under advisement, and we appreciate
Okay,
it.
so if there's any issues with the renderings that I'm looking at now, if I look at the house after it's built and it's not the same, can I put a complaint in? What do I do at that point? If things
Counsel?
change, which they're not supposed to according to codes and everything, right? What happens if it changes? What do I do as a neighbor?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman. He cannot build two houses that look alike. That's why we insist on the building plans. If he deviates from the building plans, I would think he'd have to come back to the board. Okay?
Yes.
So,
Yeah, so, and Ms. Shaw, in case you,
that would
unless
be
you
a condition.
disagree with me, no matter what, this board would maintain jurisdiction over the property.
And I would make it a condition of approval that the facades be identical to the plans that were submitted to the board. And then that's locked into the resolution as well.
Okay.
Okay?
Thank you, Mr.
Yes, and it will be personally, I think it's an improvement to the neighborhood. So I don't have an objection. My neighbor Sue? you
Sorry,
wanna
so
come up
she
here?
could approach you, so you're good, sir?
I'm good.
Thank you very much, we appreciate it.
Thank you.
Anyone else within 200 feet of subject site? Ma'am, please approach.
And you're going to ask what you want, the relief and whatever. Go ahead. State your name.
Ma'am, would you raise your?
Sir, if you could please, sir, you can
I'm
please have
sorry.
us.
Ma'am, would
Thank
you raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear or affirm to tell the whole truth, nothing but the truth to help you God?
Yes.
Okay, please state your full name and provide your address.
Susan Dunham, 33 Riverview Avenue, Edison. I've lived in my house for 58 years. Edison is my home. I love the neighborhood. It's a good place. Now, I'm going to ask a question, and it's probably stupid, but I don't understand the letter that I got. It says it's requesting relief on any variances. I hate to be the stupid person, but does that mean as they go along, you can just change things and they're asking for like carte blanche of relief? I'm sorry.
Not a problem, ma'am. It's not a problem. So here, this is what we're going to do. We're going to put either Mr. Tripp or Miss Shaw's law degree to practice, and one of them is going to answer this question. So I'm going to sit back, and we're going to let them work their yes cues.
Okay.
The notice, ma'am, the notice is only advising you that the applicant requires variances from the requirements of the township ordinances. So if the board were to look favorably upon the application, the resolution would indicate what the conditions are, and these are the only variances that would be granted. If the applicant requires additional variances or modifications or changes, the board retains its jurisdiction, and they would have to come back to the board to address those variances.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay. Thank you.
And I will use my law degree by agreeing with the board attorney.
Sorry. Thank you.
No, thank you
that's
so much for
okay.
coming out. Thank you so much for asking the question. And now you're ready to go to law school. Okay. Anyone else within 200 feet of subject site wanting to be heard? Anyone outside of 200 feet of subject site wanting to be heard? Seeing none, can I get a motion to close the public portion?
Mr. Chair,
Oh,
can I ask a question to the applicant?
sure.
Mr. Dupont, I see that there is the roof leaders, as you mentioned. On
Wait,
splash.
actually, Ms. Travel, let me just close the public portion. So can I get a motion to close the public portion?
Motion to close public portion.
Second. Motion made by Vice Chairman O'Gorman, second by Mr. Chauber. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Public portion is now closed. Mr. Chauber, you have the floor.
Thank you. Mr. Dupont, I see that there's roof leaders are directed to splash blocks. Is there any plans for the owners to put some kind of drainage system in the ground? My only concern is this again. You're putting two brand new buildings here, lots of impervious, 45 by 32 feet of buildings that are being propped in these areas, and it's looking like that splash leader, that roof leader is almost 12 feet away from the neighbor's property, and I'm afraid it's going to flood his garage and his yard.
Okay, so as we talked about earlier, because so much impervious exists today, demoing the entire site and building 2 new homes and 2 new driveways, there's only 639 square feet of increased impervious. That's de minimis. That you're not even going to see any change at all. So today, it's splash blocks and roof leaders today, and there's a large garage in the back and asphalt driveway in the back. That's going to become lawn. The splash blocks to roof leaders to splash blocks in 4 different directions will dissipate the water over the site, which is encouraged by the state, right, with groundwater recharge and trying to get the water back into the soils. So, and the drainage pattern too, right now the property slopes to the rear. We're going to maintain that, but we're going to eliminate some of the asphalt and the roof in the back of the property. So there's going to be no increase in runoff. There's going to be no change in drainage pattern. And no, I believe there would be no need for a property owner to put any kind of drainage in there.
So I would argue otherwise, because a 45 by 32 piece of patio is different than a 45 by 32 roof. A building has 4 points, and it's 4 concentrated loads of runoff going off. If it's a patio, again, as you mentioned before, it sheds in all the different directions equally, as per the pitch and such. So in this situation, that whole large buildings runoff is going in a concentrated load into one corner for each of the 4 corners, rather than patio. So for that reasoning, again, I would favorably look upon if the builder was considerate enough to put drainage pipes alongside the neighbor's property. It looks like they have a masonry garage right next to 2 feet away from the boundary line. The last thing I want to hear from the neighbor complains that the water is going into their garage.
The runoff from a patio, an impervious surface, whether it be a roof or an asphalt driveway, is exactly the same. You're right about sheet flow across it, I understand that. But look at the size of this asphalt driveway and that large garage. That large garage is on the line, and that's currently just coming down, roof leaders and off the pitch. I get your point that you're concerned about adjoining properties. I think by breaking up at 4 degrees, I don't think you're going to have any kind of a concern there. It is broken up into 4, and quite frankly, that's the way it's encouraged to do with the state regulations, stormwater regulations. They want you to detach runoff from roofs and patios into lawn areas and recharge your groundwater. That's what they're encouraging.
Correct. And there's, having drainage pipe has holes and stuff, you can put that stuff. That's, again, it's also recharging into the grass. I completely get that point. Second question is the stairs to the basement. I see that there's masonry stairs going into the basement. What are the purpose of that?
I'm sorry, looking on the site plan or the architectural plan? Site plan?
Yeah, I'll look at the site plans.
Oh, yeah, okay. Just access to the basement. For the
Okay. Are they having any intentions of using it as an apartment?
Absolutely not.
Okay. Is it something in the area? I mean, I haven't seen, it's not very familiar in Edison having stairs to the basement. Would the applicant consider removing them?
The applicant advised me that they wanted an additional way to get into the basement from the backyard, but if the board is concerned about that, he would agree to eliminate those stairs, if that's a concern.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I personally, unless the board thinks otherwise, I personally don't think there's a need for those stairs in the back. Given that the variances that are being requested and the condition of the neighborhood, the way the neighborhood's structured, I don't think so it fits in any purpose or use there. That's it. Thank you.
Again, that's something that we would agree to do as a condition of any board decision.
Okay, since there was new testimony provided as a result of Mr. Chaba's question, we're going to reopen to the public. But it'd only be with regarding to the new testimony that was just presented. So we're going to open, so first to 200 feet. Anyone within 200 feet of subject site wanting to be heard? Sir? And this is with regard to the new testimony that was just presented.
You just mentioned about the stairs, so can I talk about the stairs?
So just,
just-
hold on.
The stairs in the back?
Wait, sorry.
Hold on. Just state your name for the record again.
Thomas Freck.
And you're still under oath.
Yes. I just had a question about the stairs. It's good to have an outside entrance to your cellar always, in case you have to replace your furnace or a washing machine or whatever the case may be. I also see that when you put a set of stairs like I just saw there, first thing comes to my mind, is this going to be a two-family house under a one-family rule? Because there's a full basement there's a full bathroom downstairs. So my question is similar to what you're alluding to over there, or maybe not alluding to, but is this is going to be a single-family house, not a two-family house, correct?
The application request is for a single-family home. It is not for a two-family home. It will remain as such if it is so approved.
Okay. All right. So I have issues. I can go back if I happen to see two families living in the house. I can go back to the city and say, why are there two families in the house? Is that my option?
The only use that's permitted is a single family. That's what we're seeking. If anyone in the future ever tries to use it for a use that's not permitted, it would be a zoning violation. And we have Mr. Ayat sitting up with the board who could explain what that would entail.
Okay, thank you. Anything else?
Thank you, sir. Anyone else within 200 feet of subject site want to be heard? Anyone outside of 200 feet? Seeing none, can I get a motion to close the public portion?
Motion to close public portion.
Second.
Motion made by Vice Chairman O'Gorman, seconded by Mr. Schneider. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Public portion is now closed. Mr. Tripp, would you like to give summation tonight, or do you want to hold off until we carry us for a vote?
It probably makes sense to wait because you'll have the full board there, presumably who's read the transcripts. So I would do a summation at that point.
So it's less for them to have to read. That's fine.
I promise you I will be brief.
Okay. All right. Madam Secretary?
Carry them to June 17th for a vote.
Are you good with June 17th for a vote on that?
We can do that.
Okay, all right, so for anyone here present, for anyone listening at home, this case will will resume on June 17th, 2025, with a meeting beginning at 7 PM here in council chamber. If you received a notice, you will not receive another notice. This will serve as your notice. And thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, so the board will take a 5-minute recess to stretch our legs and allow the court reporter to rest her hands. return to session. Madam Secretary, next case on the agenda, please.
Case number Z27, 2024, 1970 Edison LLC at 1970 Lincoln Highway. Applicant is seeking preliminary and final site plan approval along with use and bulk variances to construct a second-story addition to the existing office. Standards have not been met in accordance with the master plan. Max FAR permitted is .25, proposed is .48. Combined side yard required is 30, proposed is 23.18. Max lot coverage required is 75%, proposed is 90%. Minimum side yard required is 15, proposed is 8.69 feet. Affected property is located in the GB zone designated as block number 1131, lot number 30.01 on the Edison Township tax map. All noticing paperwork is in order.
Good evening, Mr. Sachs.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. Lawrence Sachs on behalf of the applicant. The applicant is 1970 Edison LLC, which is the property owner, block 1131, lot 30.01. Mr. Chairman, members of the board, we're here this evening for preliminary and final major site plan approval to construct an addition to an existing medical arts building. That addition consists of a second-story addition and also a first and second-story addition to the rear of the property. We do require some bulk variances, most of which are pre-existing nonconformities based upon the configuration of the site and the existing structure that's there, which is a one-story medical arts building. We also require a D4 floor area ratio variance, which is technically a use variance. The use is permitted in the zone, but we will obviously provide our proofs with respect to the D4. The property is located in your GB zone. It's approximately 0.185 acres. I'm sure many of you are familiar with this site. To be kind, it's a site that requires a lot of TLC. It's a fairly deteriorated and dilapidated commercial building that was utilized as a medical arts building. The applicant plans on doing major renovation to it. The facade is obviously going to be a major improvement to what you see right now on Route 27. Also, the parking lot is really a non-delineated parking lot, so part of this proposal will be to delineate the parking stalls. We do not require any parking variance, and we're also going to comply with the installation of EV charging stations pursuant to local and state law. Mr. Chairman, I have two witnesses. My first witness is Mr. Sarjil Mansour, who is actually, his family owns the property and will also be the operator of the property. So this will be owner-occupied property and an owner-occupied business, and I want him to just briefly talk about his business. He'll talk about the hours of operation, number of employees, et cetera. My second witness will be Mr. John DuPont, who I know this board is familiar with because you saw him about 10 minutes ago, and he will provide testimony as to engineering and also planning. So, Mr. Chairman, without further ado, if we can have Mr. Mansour sworn in, and I'll ask him just a few brief questions.
Mr. Mansour, you raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm to tell the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, I do.
And state your full name for the record.
My full name is Sergil Mansouri, Sarjil. Last name Mansouri, Mansuri.
All right, Mr. Mansouri, if you could describe to the board the nature of your business. What's the name of your business, and what type of business are you going to be are you engaged in and will be so at this particular property?
So the company name is actually Taj Company. We are a wholesale jewelry company for beads and semi-precious stones. What we do is we essentially sell to directly to jewelry designers and other business owners. We do not sell to the public. We do not sell as a retail value. Similarly, in comparison, and please let me know if I'm not allowed to do this, but if you guys are familiar with Oak Tree Road, who are open to the public, who sell out finished jewelry, that is not our business. We would essentially hope that the Oak Tree Road business owners would be our customers. So we are only appointment only. we are focused on wholesaling jewelry directly to those businesses.
Okay. And your intention is to utilize this building for your back office operations?
That is correct, yes.
And also you plan on having a small display room as
Yes,
well?
yes.
All right, so there's no retail activity will occur at this site?
No.
And anyone who's coming to that showroom will be by appointment only?
That is correct.
And
Yeah.
it'll be one at a time, I assume?
Yes, yes. we
Okay.
do.
Obviously, you want to devote your attention to that customer. All right, the hours of operation, you've indicated to me, are going to be 9 a.m. to 6 p.m., Monday
Yes.
through Friday?
That is correct.
You're not going to be open, obviously, for customers on Saturday or Sunday, although I assume you may use your office
Yes,
during
that is
those
correct.
days.
Yep, yep.
All right, and in terms of employees, what's the maximum number of employees that you'll have?
So including family members, we have 6 individuals who essentially help out with the business. But due to, but we are essentially working on as a part-time shift schedule. So we have no more than 3 people at a time at the store.
Okay. And deliveries, how do they occur?
Through UPS, FedEx, and things of that nature.
Okay, there's no tractor trailers, no large wheelbase vehicles on the site?
No, no.
All right. And in terms of refuse, I know what's proposed is, I guess, a small refuse container. You'll put your recycling in there and also trash?
Yes.
Okay. And that will be picked up by a carter?
Yes.
All right, and that will occur during off hours?
Yes.
All right. And I'm assuming you don't generate a lot of trash and recycling, am I correct?
No.
Okay. All right. All right. And in terms of any other tenants, this will be solely occupied by your business. There are no other tenants proposed at this site?
Correct. It's solely for the family business.
Okay. Now, the first floor, I know the board has the benefit of seeing some architectural plans. The existing basement, obviously, is going to be renovated, but the basement is just going to be for storage?
Utility, yes.
Utilities, okay. The first floor, what's proposed is a conference room, a sitting area, and a display area.
Yes.
That display area is really a modest-sized display area. It's approximately 974 square feet?
Yes.
Okay, you'll have some display cases, I assume?
Yes, exactly.
All right. And the second floor is comprised of approximately 1,668 square feet. That will be an open office area?
Yes, that's correct.
That's where your 3 to 4 employees will be working?
Correct.
Okay. Mr. Chairman, I don't have any further questions of this particular witness. Certainly is available for any board questions.
Does the board have any questions for Mr. Mansouri?
Mr. Chairman,
Vice Chairman?
where are you operating your business right now?
So currently, our history is interesting. We were in New York City at one point, and then COVID happened. We then moved our operations to our home.
Any other questions for Mr. Mansouri? Mr. Mansouri, and this may be on the plans, but I'm just hoping there's some safe security for,
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. We need to keep essentially like a giant locked and safe so we can essentially keep all of our merchandise in, and then additionally with security cameras and a locked door, like a more reinforced door.
okay, all right, great, thank you. Any other questions, Mr. Mansouri? Okay, thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, my next and final witness will be Mr. John DuPont.
Yeah, come back. Thank you, guys.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm to tell the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
State your name for the record, please.
John P. DuPont.
And Mr. DuPont, you were previously accepted earlier this evening. Nothing has changed in the last hour.
That is true.
Oh, that's a good thing. Okay, you may proceed. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. All right, so Mr. DuPont, I know we have a handout, so maybe I can pass that out.
Yep.
All right, and we'll mark this as A1.
And I think maybe for this application, I'll go over to the plans. These guys in check.
So for the record, this handout A1 consists of 3 pages.
That's correct. Okay, Mr. DuPont, why don't you briefly describe the Exhibit A1, and I'm sure that will segue into what's being proposed here.
Okay, we took a couple aerials. Well, we had to use Google Earth, and we took a couple aerials. So the first sheet on A1 shows the property marked in red. That's just an aerial view of it. The second sheet shows from Route 27, the front of the building, just kind of give you an idea of the size and the condition. And then there's also one Google shot down a block, so you see the next 3 or 4 properties. You can get a feel for the neighborhood. And there's a fourth one, I'm sorry, it's just a tax map. And we'll talk about that in a bit. But currently, the existing site is 1970 Lincoln Highway. It's block 1131, lot 30.01. The site is currently 8,045 square feet, located right on Route 27. The site has a one-story frame building on it that was formerly used as a dental office. It's been vacant for 2 or 3 years now. The entire front of the property is paved, as well as the sides. The rear of the property is grass, and quite frankly, it's a little overgrown at this point. The building is in poor condition, is in need of rehabilitation. So what the applicant's looking to do, and I'll just look at sheet 3 or 4 in the site plan, the existing structure will stay, same footprint. On the existing structure, they're going to propose a second level. So I'll make that 2-story. To the rear, there's going to be a 2-story addition to the rear of the property. The total building with both additions will become 3,825 square feet. The building entirely will be used for the applicant's office, as you heard, for his business. The site plan shows 10 parking spaces. Currently, the entire front of the property is paved, as we said, so some park spaces are up front. We have a driveway to the rear and more parking spaces in the back. There's 10 spaces. There's several EVs, 3 of them. So the total count for this property is 13 spaces. 13 spaces required by code, 13 spaces proposed. So we'll start with engineering first. The increase in impervious on this application is 3,700 square feet. We provide drainage calcs that show a minimal increase. We weren't proposing any on-site detention. However, we were trying to get the roof leaders directed towards the front of the property through Route 27. So we're trying to direct them forward. The rear of the property currently, if you're staring at the property, the right side is the new McDonald's that's built. The rear of the property, the grass currently runs towards the McDonald's, and we're going to keep that same pattern running towards McDonald's. But we're not proposing any detention or drainage in the back. Roof leaders forward, and we hope that satisfies that concern. The parking layout, pretty effective. Couple spaces up front, 5 spaces up front, 5 in the back. There is one that Mr. Bignell brought out that we'll talk in a little bit. Space is labeled space number 1 that we could talk about. It's towards the end of the drive aisle. There's proposed lighting. There's shields on the lighting, so there's no spillage. Behind our property, obviously we're on Route 27, but directly behind the property is residential houses, the residential neighborhood in a different zone. So we've shielded lighting so there's no lighting spillage. We provide the landscaping as required with your tree counts. We provided some additional shielding and landscaping along the side of the building, alongside the parking, just to soften it. And this project requires the following variances. So there's several existing non-conformings. Lot area in this zone requirement is 10,000 square feet. The current lot is 8,045 square feet. The lot width is required 100 feet. Currently, it's 60 feet wide. The side setback, single, 15 feet required, 8.69 feet existing and proposed. Both sides combined, 30 feet required, 2346 existing and proposed. On our bulk schedule on the sheet, on the cover sheet, we showed a tiny difference on the side yard setback and the combined setbacks. It's not changing. We're using the exact width of the building now, same setbacks, and just extending the building straight back. So there'll be no change. So we're going to show as existing non-conformings. There is 2 new variances required. Lot coverage, 75% maximum. We're proposing 90%. And you've heard the FAR we're requesting. FAR in the zone is 0.25. We're requesting 0.48. So that being said, we have, I think I'm going to come back over to the other table and get the review letters. We have received a letter from DNR dated April 7th.
Yeah, let me go over this with you, Mr. Dupont. Just to summarize, in terms of the variances that are being requested, the lot area, lot width, side yard, and combined side yard are all pre-existing nonconformities based upon the size of the lot. The two new variances are lot coverage and FAR, and I know we're going to get into planning testimony in a second. But since you've covered your, I guess, a description from an engineering standpoint, one question in paragraph 2.2. Now, a traffic report was provided by McDonough and Ray Associates. Is that correct?
That is correct.
All right. That report was dated February 21st, 2025. And would you concur with the conclusion in that report that there are no significant traffic, parking, or circulation issues raised with this project?
I would concur with that. There's such a limited amount of trips, 7 in the morning peak, 8 in the PM peak. Very small building, very low peaks, and I agree there's going to be no impact whatsoever.
All right. And in terms of the parking, you heard the testimony of Mr. Mansouri, who basically said his maximum number of employees are 6. The maximum number of customers that would be there at any given time is 1. So we have at a peak time or at peak demand 7 parking spaces that may be utilized, and we do have 10. Is that correct?
We do.
All right. So we don't have any parking issues. I know that was raised in Mr. Carley's report. I just wanted you to touch on that. The rest of the comments in terms of pedestrian and vehicular movement, we can comply with all of those. Is that correct?
We can.
All right. Just for the record, Mr. Chairman, in paragraph 2.7, Mr. Carley has requested that we provide a cross-access easement with our neighbor. That has been agreed upon with the neighbor. I've already prepared that easement, and certainly that can be a condition of approval, that if the board acts favorably, we'll make sure that that is executed and recorded. And I think that's an excellent suggestion by Mr. Carley. All right, in terms of parking, I think we covered parking. Paragraph 3.2, any security measures for the parking area. I know Mr. Mansouri talked about internal security, but I'm sure he'll have cameras also on the exterior as well, because he does have some valuable merchandise there. Let's see what else. In terms of loading, paragraph 3.4, do you see the need for any additional separate loading space here based on Mr. Mansouri's testimony?
I do not.
Okay. In terms of lighting and landscaping, I think we can comply with all of Mr. Carley's comments. I know Mr. Bignell has a few comments, which we'll go over in a second. Stormwater management, I think we can comply again with any of those technical concerns of Mr. Carley. Mr. Dupont, I think there was a mistake made on the architect's plans specifying a seepage pit. Is that correct?
Yeah, the architect's plan did show a seepage pit at one point, and that's certainly an option. We thought with the soils in the area, it might be better to bring your roof leaders forward, get the water to Route 27, and just make sure there's no adverse runoff to the adjoining property.
Okay. Paragraph 6 deals with sanitary waste disposal, water supply, other utilities, and again, I believe we can comply with all of that. Is that correct?
That's correct.
All right. In terms of fire suppression, I don't think any is required in this application, but certainly Mr. Dupont, the applicant, will comply with fire extinguisher, smoke detectors, whatever is required by the fire marshal.
Yes.
Okay. Solid waste, paragraph 7, we can comply with all of that. Did we show the location of that shed that Mr. Mansouri testified to? If not, we can.
I think we have to add it.
We'll add that to the plans. And also, Mr. Chairman, members of the board, any refuse that's carted off-site will occur during off hours. Since we are obviously going to be the owner and operator of this site, we can control that. So we'll make sure that that doesn't occur during business hours. Let's see, number 8, environmental, we can comply with all of that. And miscellaneous, we can comply with all of that. I know we're asking for a waiver on a fiscal impact statement. I'll defer to Mr. Carley on that. I don't think we're going to be impacting the municipality in any negative way with this project. All right, so I think that covers engineering. So let's segue into
Hang on a
plan-
second, hang on a second, hang on a second. I'm steering the ship here, not you.
Okay, I'm sorry, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Carley.
I'll agree with Mr. Sachs. He and Mr. DuPont did a comprehensive job covering my report. And relative to the fiscal impact statement that's presented by the ordinance, I would expect that Mr. Mansouri will be paying property taxes and the facility will not be contributing school children. So if Planner DuPont would aver with that, I think that would suffice as a fiscal impact report.
I would concur.
All right. And that's about it, Mr. Kumba.
Thank you, Mr. Carley.
Thank you.
Now you have the floor.
Sorry about that, Mr.
It's
Chairman.
okay. So
Okay.
you get one per night. You're good.
Okay, thank you. All right, so with that said, and with the chair's permission, now we can get into planning. So if you can cover both the bulk variances and also the floor area ratio variance that we require.
I certainly will. Okay, so you've heard it before, existing non-conforming, just to review it, lot area, lot width, no changes proposed. Side yard setback and combined side yard setback, both existing non-conformings. The two new variances you have in front of you tonight, you have lot coverage, maximum allowable 75%, we're proposing 90, and the floor area ratio, maximum allowable 0.25%, we are proposing 0.48. So I will address the new variances using the flexible C criteria. I am going to go right to the new variances. The allowable is 75, we are proposing 90, but we're able to provide adequate on-site parking. So with an office-based building, we expanded it, and we wanted to make sure that we were able to properly park it. We didn't want to have a building too large that we couldn't service. So we thought it was more important to increase the impervious and provide adequate parking. We were able to do that. We did not adversely impact the drainage. We did provide landscaping and lighting and security. The adjoining properties on Route 27 are all very similar. A lot of those houses, a lot of those buildings right in that section are old homes that were converted to offices, real estate lawyer, and they all have a similar design. The entire fronts are paved, they park some in the front, and then they pave the back. And if you look at the photographs we sent you, that's why we gave you a couple photographs, aerials. We're doing very similar design, seems to be effective. And we thought, again, the importance of parking was critical. And then the floor area ratio. So as the D4, as you know, the criteria is to demonstrate that the site can accommodate the problems associated with the proposed larger floor area ratio that was permitted by ordinance. The focus isn't the use, because that's permitted, but rather the deviation in the floor area ratio. Here, the lot can accommodate the 0.48. We have not further intensified the setbacks, not the side yards, not the front, not the rear. We didn't further intensify. We're able to create enough on-site parking for the use, as previously discussed, and we also comply with the height. So we are maintaining all the light, air, and open space. This is exactly what the intensity of the site and the floor area ratio is all about, that we kept all the light, air, and open space. We're not overbuilding this building, compromising side yard setbacks, compromising our rear yard setbacks. We're meeting all that. We did an exhibit 2, and I think you have that one as well. We took a quick look at the adjoining properties. Where did mine go? Oh, I think I have it. I don't. There's 3 properties right next to us. Here it is. And we thought it was interesting to kind of take a look, because it's directly behind us is the residential zone. So that's really a different animal. But we had the 4th sheet of that stapled set you had, shows the tax maps. And we looked at the 4 properties next to us. Now, lot 31 is that new McDonald's. It's a different animal. So I didn't look at that one. But ours is 0.48. It's highlighted in yellow on that tax map. The floor area ratio is 0.48. The one right next door is 0.39. The one next door to that is 0.30. So it's kind of the same thing. These are little older buildings, and quite frankly, they need some renovation as well. But in that time frame, that's kind of what they built. Ours was a smaller one right now. As we expanded, the building gets a little bigger, but as we accommodate the on-site improvements to make the office space work, our floor area ratio goes up. But this isn't a residential, this is a commercial unit on Route 27 that is going to be now consistent and probably, quite frankly, probably going to be the leader in this area of renovations. You're going to see more here. This is just the first applicant doing it, but it's going to improve it. You look at that site now, it needs help. The building is in rundown condition, and it's on a main roadway. So we think the lot can meet that floor area ratio requirements, the demand. I think we balanced it between the impervious and the parking and the size of that building to get something that really works and is effective. As you can see, seeing exhibit, we're going to match that neighborhood being characteristics. Now, there's purposes of the MOUL that will be advanced by this application, and I could read them to you briefly. I'm not going to bore you with them, but purpose A is to develop lands in a manner to promote health, general safety, and welfare. Clearly, that's it. C, to promote adequate light, air, and open space. Again, we're doing all that. E, to ensure establishment of appropriate densities and concentrations in neighborhoods and communities. I think we're really doing that as we meet the character. And I, to promote a desirable visual environment. We're taking an old dilapidated building. It's going to be a nice new office space. It's not going to be too intense, or it's not a gas station. It's not a convenience store. This is our client owns this for his wholesale jeweler, family business. It's a perfect location. It's good access for him, and we're going to make the area look a lot better. As far as negative criteria, I see no substantial detriment or to the public good or to the impairment of the zone plan or the intent of the zoning ordinance. The lot coverage allows us for a more effective sized building. We park it properly. We don't extend all the setbacks. The FAR is noted will accommodate any problems. The lot can accommodate any problems with respect to the FAR. When you look at the variances together, it's an appropriate design. It's consistent with the neighborhood. I think it's a great balancing act. And that's my testimony.
Just a couple of questions, Mr. Dupont, and thank you for the concise testimony. And I do want to go over Mr. Bignell's report in a second. But so I guess if I can summarize your testimony, the bulk variances that we're seeking can be granted under a C2, flexible C2 analysis?
That's correct.
And that would be where the benefits would outweigh any detriments, and more importantly, promoting sound planning.
That's accurate, yes.
All right. And in terms of the D4 floor area ratio variance, again, it's not a strict use variance where we have to do the Medici balancing test. Under Coventry Square, we just have to obviously demonstrate to the board that the site can accommodate this use, and we are providing, obviously, enough parking, which is really the critical issue in any commercial site. Is that correct?
That's correct.
We don't require a parking variance. We're also providing EV parking spaces, which brings this property more into the 21st century. Is that correct?
That is correct.
All right. And obviously, the previous use was as a medical arts building. If we were to utilize this as a medical arts building with the parking requirements under today's standards, we'd probably have to provide more parking. Is that correct?
We certainly would.
Okay. All right. So in terms of Mr. Bignell's report, which is dated May 13th, 2025, you've covered all of the variances, I hope, and I'm sure Mr. Bignell will tell us if we didn't. We're complying with the EV credit. We're complying with the lighting. In terms of landscaping, I know that there's a comment that he wants us to provide an additional deciduous tree on site. We can do that?
Yes.
All right. And also, he's indicated he'd like to see some additional plantings along the front property line. That may be problematic. Can you indicate to the board why?
Yes, currently today, the entire front of the property is paved. It's like a large driveway. So all depressed curb, you drive by the entire front, so it's all currently asphalt. And we're contending to keep that same thing, just repave it, but just keep it all asphalt.
All right. Mr. Chairman and Mr. Bignell's comment, If there's any place else on site where we can provide some landscaping, we're certainly willing to do it, but I think we'd probably lose some parking, but
Well, I just have a couple of questions real quick.
Please, Mr. McNeil.
Right now, the curb cut is like pretty much the entire front of the property.
It is.
Have you gone to DOT and talked to them about curb cuts?
Our traffic engineer has looked at the state requirements. He thinks we'll get a letter of no interest, but he does not. He says we should not alter that driveway in any way.
Yeah, I don't want to do that to you because I was thinking if you angled some of that parking, you'd have like a one-way in and then a one-way out and then have the access to the back, and you'd gain a couple of feet in the front. But if you can't do it, I understand.
Right.
okay. Yeah. All right, just a couple more things in Mr. Bignell's report. Wants to ensure that we will comply with the lighting foot candles at the residential property lines, and that will certainly occur. Is that correct?
Correct.
All right. And I think we've spoken about the refuse, and we'll show that detail.
Where are you going to put it? That's another question. Where are you going to put it? Because on the architectural plan, you show like a shed.
Yeah.
And that normally doesn't, we don't normally approve that, but I don't think they're going to create a lot of garbage. But in the future, like if you ever sold a building or something of that nature, where are you going to put in that shed and how are they going to get access to it? That's my concern.
Is it going to be a shed or are we going to do an enclosure?
Well, if we have room, we can do an enclosure. I know the architect showed the shed. It would probably be a very small refuse container with, obviously a similar sized enclosure. I guess we can show that on the plan, Mr. Dupont.
We will certainly show it on the revised plan. It could be.
Maybe you put it where you have that one space sticking out in the driveway going in because you won't need a full length space, or if you're going to eliminate that. The other thing too is I don't think you're going to have any kind of noxious smells or anything coming from your dumpster.
Right, very limited.
No, we don't. We have
unless he has gold samples that he throws in the dumpster. That's not. But the one thing I may have missed on my report, I was looking, the fencing in the back, is that going to be a new fence across the back of that property line? Because we aren't creating a buffer. It's an existing condition.
Yeah. Mr. Bignell, the applicant has indicated that if the board, and plus if the board is interested in seeing a fence back there, we'll put a new fence back there.
Yeah, because like I said, you're increasing the impervious cover too. I don't have any problem because on the McDonald's side, it seems like you're paved to your property line, but they're not. So they got all those trees and things in there. They're not going to touch those because that was just all redone. So
That's exactly right.
yeah, so that's a good thing. You're not going to do any. You're going to do digging, but pipeline buffering. You're going to have to at least provide the letters. We've had an explosion down the road there, and we don't want to see any more of that.
We'll do that. That's
just
not a problem.
for your own protection. That's all.
Yes.
And then we talked about the shielding the lights in the back, so it's zero signage. You got those two signs that are in the front of the property. Are they kind of like they're kind of really odd places? Is there any way of I know you want to use the existing signs, but that's. Well, let me ask it a different way. Do they interfere much at all with the flow of traffic on site? I asked that you provide me some kind of narrative on the flow.
I pulled in there tonight, and I know the sign you're talking about.
Yeah.
Doesn't obstruct our driveway.
How about the neighbor? There's no problem with the neighbor?
No, it's because it's all paved around. People kind of go left and right of it.
All right. And then the last, I'd also ask for a cross-access agreement with the neighbor, just so, because everybody shares everything up there, and I don't want to reinvent the wheel, but he's doing a real nice job with the facade of the building, so that's a real plus. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
And we'll provide that, Mr. Bignell. I've already prepared it, and it's just a question of having it executed if the board acts favorably. So. The one tree.
Hang your son.
The one tree.
Mr. Carley.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Going back to what Mr. Bignell was talking about with the sign, I don't think that it obstructs vision. It's a sign that's elevated. It's on 2 posts, and motor vehicle or drivers can see between the posts, but semicolon. It's on a raised bed which has bricks or pavers. That's in the state right-of-way. And so in my report, I say you're going to need an occupancy permit. In your traffic consultant's report, he advises that he's going to get a letter of no interest for the access permit, which is entirely feasible. 7 trips per hour is de minimis. but you really are going, you, the property owner, are going to have to really think hard about your love for that brick paver area in terms of asking for permission from the state. That's between you and the state, Mr. Sachs, because you're going to need their permit. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Carly. Okay. All right. So does the board have any questions for Mr. Dupont with regard to engineering testimony and planning testimony? Mr. Dupont, I have a planning question. In comparison to some of the sites within 200 feet within that zone, your FAR, are you in line?
Yeah, so that's that one exhibit that you have. So we looked at the Route 27 lots right next to us. That's the fourth sheet of that packet. And I think we're right in line with those. We're a little bigger than the older homes, or the older buildings.
Mr. Chairman, I have a 3-sheet packet.
Yeah, I think it's, I think it's only 3 sheets.
Oh, did I not give you this one? I'm sorry, my bad.
Well, we only have one copy of it, but we'll mark it, I guess,
You have all these fancy color copies. You got that one that.
That's the important one.
Yeah, no, seriously, and you keep referencing
I
here.
know.
So.
It's a pretty good document.
Yeah, so I think, Mr. Dupont, I think your testimony is that obviously the properties to the north and south of us are all exceeding the .25 FAR.
They are.
So I'll tell you what we're gonna do. So our secretary is gonna make copies of it. So we'll take just a 2-minute recess until she comes back, makes copies, distributes to the board, and we'll be good to go. All right. Thank you.
We're ready.
All right, the board will return to session. So during the break, Madam Secretary made copies for the board of what is now going to be marked as A2, the elusive page 4.
Sorry.
Mr. Dupont, you may proceed.
But that's a copy of your tax map. I highlighted our lots and showed the 0.48 FAR. Looking at the map to the left, lot 31 is the new McDonald's. I felt it wasn't really apples to apples, so I did not look at that. But the next 3 properties are just the way ours is today. It's an older home, it looks like, that was converted to an office or a real estate. So they're 0.39, 0.3, and 0.2. So very similar kind of properties. And I think they'll be coming to you soon to renovate them too. They need renovations as well.
Yeah, and you know, Mr. Dupont, let's go back to A1. which I think was the 3-sheet exhibit. And if I look at, for instance, the photograph on A2, on the second page, it shows our building is a 1-story building. Now, the one next to us is a 1-story with a second-story
Two in the
addition.
back, yep.
But is it your testimony that if you had a second-story addition on that, an entire second-story addition, you'd probably be at a similar FAR as what we're proposing?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
All right. And it's your professional opinion, you believe that this site can certainly accommodate the FAR, which really is being triggered as a result of the second-story addition for the most part.
That's correct. I do think it could handle it for sure.
Okay. Mr. Chairman, I don't have any further questions of.
Okay, does the board have any further questions, Mr. Dupont? Seeing none? Okay. All right, thank you. Mr. Sachs?
Well, Mr. Chairman, I know you only have 5 members here this evening. I don't know if you want to open up to the public, but I'd have no objection to that.
If you have no objection, we'll open up to the public, and then if it's okay with you, we can then carry for a vote only for another night. Okay, great. All right, so we'll now go out to the public. Anyone within 200 feet of subject site wanting to be heard, you're within 200 feet, you received a notice via certified mail. Seeing none, anyone outside of 200 feet wanting to be heard? Seeing none, can I get a motion to close the public portion?
Motion to close the public portion.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Schneider, seconded by Vice Chairman O'Gorman. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Public portion is now closed. Mr. Sachs, you wanted to give your summation tonight, or do you want to hold off until you get it carried?
I think I'll follow Mr. Tripp's suggestion and do that at the next hearing.
Okay, all right.
Which I think would be the 17th, June 17th.
Let's check that out.
Yes, June
All right.
17th.
Okay. All right. So, and that works for you. It works for your applicant. It works for your professionals.
Well, unless Mr. Carley and myself have to be in North Brunswick together that night. But no, I'll make it my point.
I know Mr. Carley would choose Edison over North Brunswick any day of the week. All right, Mr. Carley.
North Brunswick is a 1-horse town.
I can make a comment about horses in Edison, but we're gonna keep it.
We also haven't had a meeting in a few months, so I'm hoping that the trend will continue.
It's another thing, we're efficient around here. Okay, all right, so for anyone here present, for anyone listening at home, this case will be carried until June 17th, 2025 for summation and vote. If you received a notice, you will not receive another notice. This will serve as your notice. This case will resume on June 17th, 2025 with a meeting beginning at 7 p.m. here in council chambers. Thank you very much, Mr. Sachs.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, members of the board.
Have a good evening.
Thank you.
Madam Secretary, any further business come before the board this evening?
That'll be all this evening.
All right, can I get a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion made by Vice Chairman, motion made by Mr. Schneider, second by Vice Chairman O'Gorman. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Board stands adjourned. Thank you, everyone.